Right, we're talking about labelling sides of triangles, or specifically right angle triangles, when we use trigonometry with them. So when we're talking about right angle triangles and trigonometry is comparing, or it's a ratio of the different types of sides. You might compare this side and this side. You might compare this side and this side. There's all the different combinations, and there's 3 different combinations, but we have to know which sides we're comparing. And the only way we can decide what sides we're comparing is to refer to an angle in here. So this is what we call our reference angle. And the symbol in here is theta, right? It's a Greek letter, and it's just an unknown angle in the same way we use x with things. So this is our reference angle, or theta. We can label our triangle sides as O, A, or H. Now O stands for opposite, A stands for adjacent, and H is for hypotenuse. Now we've already come across hypotenuse before. We know the hypotenuse is across from the right angle. We always use right angle triangles when we do trigonometry, so you're always going to have a hypotenuse. So that can be the first one that you identify because you know where that right angle is. Now these two are mainly in reference to the reference angle, or the theta. So if we're trying to find the opposite, we are looking at the one that is opposite the angle, and adjacent means next to, right? If I'm sitting adjacent to my friend, I'm sitting next to them. So adjacent means it's next to the angle and actually touching the reference angle. So if we apply that same idea to these 3 over here, we've got our hypotenuse across from the right angle, we've got our opposite, our reference angle, and our adjacent one is the remaining side, and it's touching. So we've got, here's our right angle, so here is our hypotenuse, here is our reference angle, so here is our opposite, and therefore the last one there is the adjacent. Here's our right angle, so here is our hypotenuse, here's our reference angle, so here is our opposite, and therefore here is our adjacent. We cannot go any further with trigonometry unless we label our sides first. So every time you see a triangle, draw it, label your sides. You can see these 2 triangles are very similar, right? They're pointing in the same direction, they're right angles in the same orientation, but they have different reference angles. So that means the opposite and adjacent sides are going to be different. You can see the hypotenuse is in the same spot though, right? So it's very important, depending on what way that triangle is facing, that you get those sides labelled.